Okay, y'all, so I'm going to try to squeeze this video in before any more excessive man-made noise kicks off. So this snake skin has been hanging in my closet for 7 days. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to untie the leather tie, unroll it, check it to see how dry it is, and then I'm going to measure it against my hat band to make sure I've got the length I need. Hopefully I should. If not, I may have to put it back in the solution for a couple of days to soften it back up a little bit and then stretch and roll and dry it again. But hopefully by the end of the day we'll have a copperhead snake band. So unfortunately, as I mentioned about this snake, she was on what used to be a very rural road, still pretty rural where I was driving, but unfortunately she was probably 2 miles from a housing addition that they have been working on the past few years. And unfortunately, in clearing the land and developing and building houses, you're pushing the local wildlife out, and they just have no place to go. That's the thing I hate about the conflict between humans and animals, but unfortunately it is a part of life these days. So like I said, when I first come around the other side of this thing so I can work a little better, when I first killed the snake, I thought what better way to honor it, especially since it was my species that caused her death, than to make a beautiful hat band out of it. And we do have the length that we need. Obviously there's still a bit of glycerin on the hide. There's probably still a little bit of alcohol as well, but that will evaporate pretty quickly. I'm going to wipe this thing down. Obviously you want to go with the scales. I noticed when I rolled it out the first time to dry it, I did have some loss of scales in places. Fortunately, their pattern is on the skin. It's not just because of the scales, so I've still got a good pattern. I've got a bit of a crease right there along the backbone that I would like to work out before I glue this. So there we go. We have got enough snakeskin to make our hat band, and I'm super stoked about that. So the next step I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to glue the skin on with. Just want to see kind of what it looks like. And I found this at my local Walmart. This is just some contact cement. Most of the guys I saw making these videos, that's what they were using. Some were using spray adhesive, but I think I will stick with the contact cement. So what I want to do now, and I'll probably pause the video for this, is I want to lay my leather out onto the skin and somehow figure out how to mark where to get this thing on there. And obviously I want everything nice and straight and try to get it as wrinkle free as possible. And then we will put contact cement on both the leather and the skin itself, and then glue it down. And the way I'm going to attach this to the leather, I'm going to use the suede or flesh side. This is the hair side. This is usually the smooth side you usually display with leather. Okay, this is the side that's attached to the meat on the inside. That's what we call the suede side. Well, obviously it would make more sense to glue on this side because it's got more to stick to. Plus this side is a little bit lighter and it will backlight the skin just a little bit and maybe make it look a little better. So I'm going to put the contact cement on both sides of the skin and the leather. Then you have to let it sit for 15 minutes to start to cure a little bit, and then you put them together, and then you have a completed hat band. So we'll be back here in just a little bit. Alright y'all, so now is the moment of truth. The contact cement has been drying for 35 to 40 minutes. With contact cement, minimum 15 minutes curing time before you bond both surfaces, up to 2 hours, but I would say you have an hour and a half to play with. The thing about contact cement, it's not like normal glue where you put glue on one side, put the other surface together, and then it cures. You have to put contact cement on both sides, and through a chemical reaction that is initiated by contact to air, that causes the two surfaces to fuse together. So now is the most critical point of this entire video, and I have been racking my brain for the last 35-40 minutes to figure out the best way to lay this thing out and secure these two surfaces together. But obviously, if we've only got one shot, we want to keep everything as straight as we can, as wrinkle free as we can. So I have made some marks over here on this end of the leather itself to coincide with the center of that small hole in the snake skin. So what I think I want to do is lay the leather on the skin with this area lined up with the center of that hole, and then from then on I've got the skin way down over here, so from then on I want to keep it kind of stretched this way, but at the same time I want to make my contact right in between the belly line as far as the belly scales go, and that will give me a reference point to kind of keep things straight. And hopefully this will be a nice straight wrinkle free hide. I'm not going to press anything down yet. I'm just going to lay everything out, and then we will flip it over and see if we need to make some adjustments. Hopefully we won't, because another thing about contact cement is it kind of bonds on contact. That's why it's called contact cement. So, you know, it's one of those things, if you get it wrong, you may not get a chance to do it over again. If you're going to do something like this and you're going to use contact cement, you definitely want to see, we've got a little wrinkle right along the backbone here and a little bit here. I was able to stretch that out of the way. See if we can kind of work our way along here. If you're going to use contact cement to do obviously a snakeskin hatband, you want to do it in a well ventilated area. This stuff is, I mean, it's worse than like spray paint and things like that. It's got some pretty bad, dangerous fumes that come with it, so you definitely want to be careful. Sorry if I'm getting my arm in the way. I'm trying to focus on the stretching of the skin and getting as smooth as I can on this side, because obviously this is the display side. I've still got some scales falling off, which is a bit of a bummer, but for a first try on a snakeskin hatband, I think I did okay. So now I think what I want to do is flip it back over, press down on the leather so we don't mess up the hide anymore. And then what I will do off camera, obviously, is fold all this over, measure it to the center line, cut it off, and then I'll do the same thing. I will glue it, but I will spare you guys the boredom and the details on that. What I will do on the next video is, after I have gotten the hide attached to both sides and it's cured, I will do the final step, which will be the decoration, because I'm going to use a leather tie with some earth tone beads. I've got a longer piece of this that I'm going to use to tie it on each end around the hatband. I'm going to put some earth tone pony beads on here, hopefully to kind of replicate the colors in the hide. So that's all I've got for this one. Join me for the next one here. I may do it today, I may not, but we've got a hatband made and I'm pretty happy with it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Share this video with your friends, and as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless.